the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
Alright, what's up y'all, it's Logan, and I'm here to give y'all this quick review video. I got 3 albums to talk about. All 3 of them came out this past weekend. I was actually going to do full-length reviews on these, but I ended up not being able to record a video yesterday, and then I looked at my scripts and I was like, you know what, these are pretty skinny scripts. They would be short videos anyway, so why not just cap them all together into a like 10-15 minute long quick review video. That way I can get this up today being Tuesday, take Wednesday off, do a little podcast thing on Thursday in preps for my reaction review that I'll be putting out for Lecrae's Restoration album. I'll be recording that at midnight, Thursday night, Friday morning, however you want to look at it, and getting it up Friday afternoon. So that being said, I think we're ready to dive into this. First off, let me apologize for the way I'm mismatching. Got my hat on because my boys got that dub against the trash Sixers last night. Got my Kawhi Spurs Finals MVP jersey on because my man, you know I love him. Clippers got that dub last night too, so got to be repping. Anyways, getting on into this one, we will start with Dave East's Karma 3. Now this is the one that I probably had the most notes taken on, even though I actually cared for it the least. So I think I'll go in order of the album that I least like to the album that I most like out of the 3 that I'm reviewing. So this is his follow-up to his Survival project from last year. That's one that I liked pretty decently. You know, I think I said 7.5, something like that. You know, it's pretty all right. By this point with him, you know exactly what to expect, and I mean what you expected on Survival, what you got out of Survival, that's what you can expect on Karma 3, that's what you're going to get out of Karma 3, it's what you got out of Karma 2, blah, 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 you know. So the pros, if you like Dave, you'll like this. Like I said, you know exactly what to expect, and he's coming with that. He has a very solid and consistent flow over pretty good production and some very, very well-placed samples. I will mention some of the samples later. I believe I have notes on that. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and so one of his samples, he samples, what was it, Heart of the City. Oh God, except he has Trey Songz singing it. What was the name of that song? It was The City, of course. It was an okay sample. Like, it was a well-placed sample. It's just the fact that Trey Songz is singing it, and you're like, you know, Trey's good, but he obviously doesn't stand out as well as the original. And again, Dave does a good job with that beat, but again, it's just like you're hearing a lesser version of the original song. But still, I think it is a good use of a sample, regardless. I know that's kind of putting a con into a pro, but nonetheless, that's kind of how this album goes. Not that it's bad, just that with every positive, there's a drawback to it. And again, looking at his discography and at this project, he probably has a really underrated pen game. Like, he's a pretty solid lyricist, pretty good writer. It just never really comes through that well. Specifically because his projects are never that focused. It just feels like you're going song by song by song. Every project sounds like a mixtape. I know technically speaking, this one probably is a mixtape, but you know, every single album comes off as that. It's never really extremely focused. Now the cons for him and for this project. Again, more of the same from him. Nothing new. By this point, you've gotten used to it. He kind of has that DaBaby problem where he always uses pretty much the same exact flow, except the difference being with DaBaby, it's like, does he even have another flow, or like, would he even sound good with another flow? Because he's fun with what he has, but does he have the ability? Does he have the skill? With Dave, you know he does, but he just never goes out of his way to actually do it. It's almost like he's lazy. It's like he could be good, but he's lazy. And like I mentioned earlier, he doesn't always bring the best out of the samples or features, such as with The City featuring Trey Songz. Now the standout for this one is Stone Killer with Benny. I love that feature. I love that track. It's a great feature. They start trading bars back and forth, which I think is amazing. You know, Benny is an absolute killer on the mic, so they work very well. It's a solid beat. That works with their deeper voices and consistent flows. They work very well together. So overall, I mean, with this project, I enjoyed it. The problem being, it's pretty common for him to drop an album like this. I mean, it's exactly what you expect from him. Not too much to stand out about this one. Not really much that I'm going to go back on. There's like a song here or there that I was like, okay, I might come back to that song. But really, I don't see a point in going back to this one when you already have other projects from him that sound the exact same. So overall, I'm going with a forgettable 6.5 out of 10 on that one. Just think that's fair. Now let's go ahead to the next one. Boldy James with the Versace tape. I was actually pretty excited for this one. Going back to Boldy James, he released The Price of Tea in China with The Alchemist earlier this year. I wasn't the biggest fan of that the first time I listened to it, like with most Griselda projects. And then upon reflection, I fall in love with them. The exception being like Pray for Paris, where I fell in love with that. And it's not as good later on, but it's still really freaking amazing. And then like WWCD, where I just fell in love with that, and I'm still in love with that. It has not fallen off on me. But like, let's see, Benny the Butcher with the Plugs I Met. I loved that to start with. Now I think it could be a classic. Same thing with Tana Talk 3. Supreme Clientele, stuff like that. They all grow on you so well. And so that had me excited for this one. And this one is kind of the same, except, going into it expecting it to grow on you, you kind of enjoy it more the first time also. So again, this is his follow-up to The Price of Tea in China, and like the rest of them, that one I enjoyed but didn't love, and then I listened to it again after this, and I was like, oh my god, yes, that's amazing. This is not as good as The Price of Tea in China, let me say that. But he has had an amazing year, and he fits in very well with the other Griselda guys, being Benny, Conway, and Westside. The pros for this one, just like all other Griselda projects, great production, good lyricism, engaging content, specifically regarding glamour coke rap, of course. That's what you can always expect from them. The production itself makes you feel like it's straight out of the 90s, like it's a modern 90s album, a little bit clearer production, but still that dirt, that grime all over it, specifically with the way their flow sounds on top of that. It just always works for me. And then the length of this project is a positive in my opinion. As sometimes, a Griselda project doesn't really have the energy and the content. That being said, I enjoy what they bring and I enjoy what they talk about, but a lot of times the content just doesn't require a longer album, so it can feel a little bit drawn out if it gets to that length. Specifically considering that they're not coming with crazy flows or anything like that. They're coming with your regular flows that sound good, but it can get boring if it stretches on for too long. I enjoy the fact that this one is only like 23 minutes long, coming in at 10 tracks, so I think that works very well. Now, the cons of this one, that has a couple of skits that really don't add anything. Of course, it enters in with like a skit talking about how much value some product has. I can't even remember what it was, but it's like, they always talk about a painting, or if it's Westside, it's talking about a boxing match, or say a watch or something like that. Something like that that's on auction or worth betting on, stuff like that. So, and the skits in this one just really don't add to the project at all. On top of that, all the songs are really good. Sounds like a pro, but none of them are extremely engaging. There's no major standouts. Again, you can tell this is just a side project to top off the fact that he released The Price of Tea in China and the deluxe version of that not that long ago. And again, the energy is a bit low for much of this project, which is one issue that I have found with Boldy James, leading to this one being less engaging than it could be. But again, it's still really enjoyable, and being that it's so short, that doesn't come out as a huge problem. Now, the standout track of this one is Roxy Cotton with Westside Gun on it. Of course, anytime the Griselda boys link up, it's going to stand out. They have great chemistry. The track fits their flow perfectly. Really, this one needs no breakdown other than the fact that you have two Griselda guys on it. I do hope that Boldy James does get to actually get in the loop if they ever do another Griselda group project, being that he has just now started to break out a little bit more. He's not exactly a part of the trio, but, he is kind of part of that group. They work together enough. They have very similar sounds, and if I'm not mistaken, he is signed to their label, not Shady, but Griselda. So to see them work together on a project, that would be great, or maybe just a collab project or something like that, whatever. But my conclusion for this one, overall, I really enjoyed it. Knowing he's had an amazing year, he continues to build on that, although I don't think this is going to be a project worth remembering per se. It is one that you will remember, just in the sense that it was good and you will go back to it. Again, it's nothing compared to The Price of Tea in China or the other standouts in the Griselda discography, but I think it's just another solid project. That's the thing about Griselda. Every single year they'll have, like, each artist is probably going to have one project that stands out, and then they have like 2 or 3 more projects that are like, okay, that was pretty solid. I wouldn't be disappointed if that was the only thing you put out, but being that you're putting this out on top of the dang near classic you just dropped, I mean, So that's the great thing about them and how they put out music really quick. The fans never really get like hungry for more. They keep you like they space it out just well enough to where you're like, I want more. You got more, So I enjoy that. It's like they're dropping hit, okay, hit, good, It balances out very well, and I appreciate that. I think this one's a solid 7.5 out of 10. Now for the last one that I'm going to talk about, Guapdad 4000 dropping Platinum Falcon Returns. I was very excited for this one. It's very short, 6 tracks, 17 minutes. He's an up-and-coming artist who is just starting to break out. I know him, of course, from working with Denzel and working with the Dreamville Boys. I remember when he went on tour with Denzel. Gosh, I wish I could have saw that. I think that was actually overseas, though. Of course, me being in America, wouldn't have been able to see it. But man, I would have loved to see them because they have great chemistry together. They have a track together on this one that I will talk about. But first, let me get into the pros. The pros on this one being he has a great sound, great flow, great writing, great production, great features, and a great balance of sounds. He has some hype tracks, he has some with some faster rapping, and then he also has some chill and more melodic tracks, or even does a little bit of, I'm going to call it singing. Not that it's actually singing, it's not like he has an amazing singing voice or anything, but, he just gets a little bit more melodic on it, and I really enjoy that. The specific comparison I want to draw was with the first track, Lil Scammer That Could, featuring Denzel being the more hype track with the more enjoyable, fun rapping. Follow that up by No Home for the Brave, where again he's getting more melodic, slower, a softer beat such as that. The only cons that I could really think of is that sometimes his voice, I guess, could get irritating, if you're not used to it. Again, I'm completely used to it. I listen to Danny Brown, I listen to Old Chance the Rapper, I listen to Westside Gunn. None of that's going to bother me, but I could see it bothering someone who's not a fan of that type of rap, who just enjoys some more clear-cut, like a Rick Ross or a Davies type sound, That being said, if you listen to someone like Lil Baby but can't stand Guapdad's voice, I'm not trying to hate on Lil Baby. I think he's had an amazing year, but his voice can be very irritating. So if you can't listen to Guapdad, you need to reevaluate where you're at. No offense to you if that's you. Maybe you just prefer trap over what Guapdad's giving you, but I'm just saying. And then other than that, this doesn't really have a strong focus. Again, it's just a short EP, so I can't really say that's an exact negative. That's kind of the whole point. But it is more exciting to see what he can put out in an actual focused album after this, because I did enjoy this a little bit more than whatever. I can't think of the name of his last album off the top of my head, but I did enjoy this a little bit more. Now the standouts on this one, I actually have quite a few standouts. First off, the Lil Scammer That Could, of course, features Denzel. You know how I feel about Denzel. He's one of my 5 favorite rappers out right now. This was a single that dropped a while ago. I remember listening to it. Again, I don't usually listen to singles unless they feature Denzel, Kendrick, Kanye, Lecrae. That it's kind of a short list. I'm sure there's more. Of course, The Weeknd. People like that. Anderson .Paak. But anyways, they have great chemistry. They've worked together before. They've toured together. Their flows work very well together. Their styles work very well together. This is a very fun track, very easy to listen to, very enjoyable. And I will definitely go back to that one a lot. After that, we have Orgasm Full of Pain featuring Deontay Hitchcock. Another great feature, especially considering both of these guys have had enjoyable 2020s. Of course, Deontay having the album Better earlier this year. That, again, was very fun. This is a more chill song, which I actually would have enjoyed more if they had gone for more of a hype sound, because the way that their voices would have worked together on that would have been amazing. But again, this works very well. Very solid flute line going throughout for a smooth melodic beat. Very enjoyable track altogether. And finally, I want to talk about Hairless Horseman featuring Boogie. Again, this is a more chill song. Works very well with Boogie's sound. He is a very chill artist. I actually do not like whenever he gets on more hype beats. It just doesn't. I don't like the content as much. Sorry, my phone's trying to do crap. I don't like the content as much whenever he's doing that. So hearing him on a more chill beat is fun. Honestly, starting this song off, Guapdad kind of sounded like Boogie to start with. On his verse, just without the lisp, of course. Got to clown him for that because he likes to argue that he doesn't have one or whatever. But they have very good chemistry as well. And this is a great way to end the EP. overall, I mean, this kid has a very strong future, and this EP shows that very well, shows off his skill without having to worry about focusing on a message, just showing off his bars, showing off his melody, showing off his ability to change styles over an entire 6-track EP. Really enjoy that. It was a lot of fun to listen to, and this allows him to have fun over it. Again, very short, very easy to sit through, short 17 minutes, but I look very much forward to his next full-length album where maybe he'll have more of a focus. Again, being that it is a short EP without a focus, that limits how high I can go, but I did really enjoy this one. I will go back to it. I enjoyed every single track on it, and I'm going with a very solid 8 out of 10 on this one. So I know I said this would be a quick reviews, but it actually ended up feeling like I got 3 full reviews out. Either way, we're clocking in a little bit over 15 minutes, so I feel like that's not too bad. I appreciate y'all sitting through this. Later on this week, I'll be coming out with a short little podcast where I think I'll probably be talking about Lecrae, obviously in preps for my reaction review. Make sure you check out that reaction review on Friday. This will be my first time doing it, so we'll see how that turns out. I'm going to put in a lot of effort on it, probably the most effort I'll ever put in on a video, just because it's going to take more editing. Usually I don't have any editing to do on these videos other than placing in my intro and stuff like that, but we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully it'll turn out good. Hopefully y'all will enjoy it. Hopefully we'll grow a little bit from it. That being said, I appreciate y'all sitting through this. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, sub, hit the bell next to my name for notifications for when I post my next video. I will hit y'all up next time. See ya.